it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be sharing the books that I am hoping to read this May. So I apologize that this video is coming a little bit later than I had wanted to, but my schedule kind of got thrown off because we ended up getting a little surprise. So we ended up getting Charlie a little baby dog brother. So this is Archer, or Archie, we call him both, but he is Charlie's new little brother. And yeah, we ended up welcoming him to the family very unexpectedly. So it has kind of admittedly thrown the content schedule off a little bit, so I apologize for that, but I'm getting there, okay? We are figuring things out. We are figuring out being a mother of 3, and it's fine. But you might see him wandering around, or maybe he'll sleep in my lap. I'm not really sure yet. This is the first video I'm trying to film while I have him. So he does have a pretty similar personality to Charlie, who you can't really see. That's his butt there, but he's just kind of like chilling here. But they do definitely have a pretty similar personality where, for the most part, they just kind of want to sleep and vibe. So that's why I'm filming this on the floor, because otherwise he's probably gonna cry at me because he still misses his mom, because, you know, he's fresh. But anyways, I have been doing really well with reading recently, and it's kind of funny because all the videos that I have been posting lately have been TBRs, but like I actually have been reading a lot. It's just I haven't gotten to doing my wrap-ups or anything because I was reading so quickly. I wasn't sure how I wanted to do it, but what I think I'm going to do, or at least what I'm going to try out for the next little bit, is I'm going to do a monthly wrap-up again. I think that might be the easiest way to do it, but there's also like so many books to talk about that I don't really know, but we're gonna try. And we're gonna find out, you know, see how that goes. So those are the next couple of videos that I'm going to be filming. But today we are once again going to be talking about some books that I want to read, because I've just been reading a lot and I've also been in the mood to read a lot. So I have kind of a little bit of everything on this May TBR, honestly. It is mostly contemporary because that's kind of what I've been gravitating towards recently. With the warmer summer months, or it's not even summer, but with spring and it warming up, I definitely am really gravitating towards those contemporaries and romances and that sort of thing. So that's definitely reflected in this pile. But without further ado, let's just get into it. So the first book on my May TBR is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I am so excited to read this book. I already was. I love Emily Henry. You guys probably know that by now. But then you guys also selected this as the book club book of the month for May for the Queen of Hearts book club. And if you don't know what that is, it is a book club that I have over on my Patreon, so I will have that link down below for you guys to check out. But for May, we are going to be reading Happy Place together, and then there will be a live show at the end of the month, so there is still a lot of time for you to join if you are wanting to. There's like discussions throughout the month on Patreon, and then there's also a Discord channel where there's like a thread where you can kind of do a chapter by chapter breakdown. It's a lot of fun. For our first book, we ended up reading, for the Stuff and Nonsense book club, which is the YA book club, we read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and that was a lot of fun to talk about with you guys because you had like a lot to say. And I'm thinking Happy Place is going to be a really fun one to discuss as well. I have been hearing some amazing things about it, but honestly I expect no less from Emily Henry at this point, and I'm just really looking forward to diving into this one. So this is a for sure we'll read this month book. I just wanted to take a second to thank the sponsor for today's video, Ritual. So here I have the Essential for Women multivitamin, and this has been such a lifesaver because it is so convenient and easy, and I know it's something that I can trust. This is a clinically backed multivitamin that has key high quality ingredients that fill common dietary gaps. It's vegan friendly, non-GMO, gluten-free, and free of any major allergens, and no like weird ingredients either. I do try to eat a balanced diet, but no matter how balanced your diet is, it's always helpful to have some extra support for those basic things that you're needing. And I know that this is a product that is intensely tested and researched, and that makes me feel really great about taking it. They also have a happiness guarantee, so if you are taking it and within 30 days you're not happy with your experience, they will refund your money, which I think is so awesome. And not to mention, it's delivered straight to your door, which is honestly the pinnacle of convenience. Like, you don't even have to think about it. It just makes everything so easy. For you to be able to start a ritual that you can feel good about, Ritual has actually been kind enough to offer you guys 20% off of your first month. So I will have a link in the description box down below so you can take advantage of that offer. But thank you so much to Ritual for sponsoring today's video. I think you guys will really enjoy it. I have been loving it, honestly. Like, they also smell like mint. There are so many little things that I just love about these vitamins, and I never thought I would love a vitamin, but hey, I do, and that's awesome. So thank you so much once again to Ritual for sponsoring today's video. It's kind of funny because since we are reading Happy Place for the book club, I have been gravitating towards books that are like mildly like that, and I've actually started reading them and then been like, no, this is too similar. Like, I started reading The Roughest Draft by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca, and then I was like, no, I need to wait for this one because it's a little bit similar. And then From the Jump was another one. So those are definitely going to be on probably my June TBR, but basically with those, I've kind of been wanting to read something where it's like vacation. I think maybe because I'm like ready for summer and all of that. I don't really know, but the one that I think I'm going to read is Island Time by Georgia Clark. This one is set on an island off the coast of Australia, a remote tropical sanctuary, and it follows two families who find themselves stranded there together for 6 weeks. I think that seems like a really, really interesting concept, and this just seems like something that I'm definitely going to be wanting to read soon. Going for those tropical vibes, honestly. That's what I've been all about. I think you were up to no good behind me. Oh, you're just trying to get some tea. That's fine. Next is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I had seen this book around quite a bit last year, and honestly the cover is what drew me in. It's so colorful, and like, I love marine things because I love whales so much, but this is actually about a widow and her unlikely connection with a giant Pacific octopus. I really don't know what to make of that, but I know I have heard some like pretty incredible things about this book, so I'm hoping that I'm going to like it as well. But honestly, I don't really know what to expect, and that's kind of been working for me lately. I've definitely been gravitating towards those reads that I really don't know what to expect, and I've been liking them. Next is Rise to the Sun by Leah Johnson. This is by the same author as You Should See Me in a Crown, and I have had this for quite a while now, maybe 1 or 2 years. I don't really remember. I think it came out when I was moving to Quebec, so that would be in 2021. But the point is, it has been like long enough. I've included it on many TBRs, and I feel like it is definitely finally time for me to read this one. This is definitely having those summery vibes because it is set at a music festival and it is a sapphic love story there. So You Should See Me in a Crown was super cute, and I'm hoping that this one will be too. I'm sure it will be. Next up is Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. This is another book that has been on many a TBR, and no, I haven't read this yet, which is wild, but for a while, I felt like audiobooks were like reserved for those books that I really wanted to read, but I wasn't like, I don't know. It was kind of for those books that I wanted to read, but they weren't like my top priority. But now I've been reading pretty much anything on audio because I've realized it works really well for me in terms of my ADHD. So I am definitely going to listen to the audiobook for this one, and I think that will be a really pleasant experience for me, but I've kind of been hesitant to because I'm getting out of that mindset that like audiobooks are cheating. They're not, and I don't believe that they are, but it's kind of like an internal thing, you know, that other people judge you for, so then I've kind of internalized it, but I'm getting past it, and I just really want to finally consume this story. I just recently finally watched the latest season of Shadow and Bone, and it just made me want to get back into the Grishaverse, and this is the one book that I have not read yet. I kind of want to reread the rest of the series too, to be honest. Maybe I'll do that on my Patreon, I'm not entirely sure, but maybe a little readathon there. I was kind of toying around with that idea, but nonetheless, I think it is high time that I read this. Like, Nikolai is my absolute favorite. I love him so freaking much, and this is the sequel to King of Scars, which I also really enjoyed. I mean, it's centering around him. What more could I want? So yeah, I need to just buckle down and read this thing. Next up is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. Carly Fortune came out with a bang last year with Every Summer After, and I know, like, it was kind of a controversial read a little bit. Like, some people seem to love it, which I did, and other people really hated it, but since I loved it, I know that I am probably going to love her next book as well. That was her debut, and it was just so freaking good. It's my kind of romance. Like, I understand why people wouldn't like it, but I am just such a sucker for childhood friends to lovers, and that is exactly what I got in that book, and this one does not have that. I don't entirely remember what this one is about, because I was just like, oh, Carly Fortune, I'm for sure going to read it. I think it's like two characters who spend a day together and they make this promise, and one of them keeps it and the other one doesn't, so we'll see how that is going to play out, but I'm really, really looking forward to this one. I know it's set in Canada once again, and cottage country. I think it's like the same sort of setting, but either way, this is just like right up my alley. I actually kind of have the rest of these books as romances, to be entirely honest. That's just what I've been going for, and any like fantasy or whatever that I've been picking up has been entirely on a whim. And I have been picking up fantasies. They're just kind of the ones that I'm like, I don't really know what I want to read next. But the next book that I have on here is The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrane. So this is by the author of, there was like a Christmas book that I just read this past year, Kiss Her Once for Me, and I quite enjoyed that one. And this was her, I believe this is her debut novel, but I haven't read it yet. I've heard definitely amazing things about this one. It was quite hyped up when it came out, but I'm kind of late to the hype on it, and I'm hoping I'm going to like it. I know it deals with like a producer in a reality TV show, sort of like The Bachelor sort of thing, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it does sound very good. Also, this is a gay love story, by the way. Next is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I've definitely been saying Jimenez, and I'm so sorry. That is like so embarrassing, but I did not realize that until I was listening to the audiobook for what is it called? The Happily Ever After playlist, I believe. But that taught me that, yeah, that's not how you say her name at all, and I should have known that, but oh well. Anyways, Part of Your World is, I think there might be a new book out by now, but this is at least her most recent read that I own, and I've heard such amazing things about this author, and then I read the Happily Ever After playlist recently, and I quite enjoyed it. So I want to get to, I think this is the only other book by her that I have on my TBR before I can like pick up the rest. But I thought she like was a very good romance author, and I'm glad that I kept that one because I was actually going to unhaul it, but then you guys said that I shouldn't. And that was a good call because I did like it. And this one is following one of the characters that you're introduced to at the end of that book, the Happy Ever After playlist. And he seemed like a real sweetie, so I'm excited for him to get his love story. Okay, just a couple more books here. So next we have Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. I have never read anything by this author, but this book sounds very good. It sounds like something I would like a lot. It reminds me a lot of Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan, which I read last year, and it is like, it's similar, but it is kind of different as well. And it reminds me of that in the fact that it is like a celebrity and just like a, I don't know, average person, normal person, I guess, which I've actually been reading quite a few books that are following that sort of storyline lately. Like, not intentionally, but for some reason, I have quite a few from this past year that I have read. So in this case, it is a sketch writer for kind of like a Saturday Night Live sort of thing who ends up having this love story with a pop star. And that sounds really cute. And then the last book that I have on here is one that I have acquired recently, and that is Throwback by Maureen Gu. I haven't actually read anything by Maureen Gu yet. I know that she has quite a few books. I don't even know, do I own other ones? My memory is honestly not what it used to be, so I cannot remember like anything. I Believe in a Thing Called Love. Do I have that one? I can't picture the cover right now. I don't know. Anyways, this sounds super cool. It definitely is like the book of hers that has intrigued me the most, because it is about a character who, like, it's in modern day, and then she ends up traveling back in time to the is it the 90s? Yes, it is the 90s, where she runs into a 17-year-old version of her mother and has to help her to become like prom queen or homecoming queen, I believe. I am definitely super into the time travel aspect, and I like the fact that you time travel back to the 90s and it's like historical fiction is just mind-blowing to me as a 90s baby. But I'm hoping that it's not going to take like an annoying turn where she's all like, oh, no technology, like no phones, blah blah blah, which I guess would be a shell shock, but still, I'm hoping that's not the focus. I think that this could be really fun, but it could also go wrong, but I'm hoping it's gonna be fun. Okay, so those are all of the books that I have on my May TBR. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have read any of these books, please let me know your thoughts on them, because I would love to know. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in another new one very soon. Bye!